Welcome back to the second part of the crochet along, and in this one part 2. I'm now going to be showing you how to attach your flower, your yarn to your flowers, and then how to make the upper part of the sweater. And you're going to need your 5mm hook for this one. Okay, so once you have your 5 rows of flowers, and of course yours will all be connected like this, mine's a flat piece. So once you got all of them ready and you're ready to start your main part of your sweater, I'm going to show you how to do these connections now to your flower. So you want to get your main your main sweater color. For me it was black. So grab whatever you want the top part of your sweater to be, and also you want to grab your 5mm hook. The main part of the sweater will be with the 5mm hook. The 4mm size G hook was only for making the flowers. From now on you're going to be using 5mm / H hook for the US. So we're going to be working in the top petals, the chain 3 spaces on either side of our top petals. We're going to be using the chain 3 spaces on the side petals. We're going to use the connection here in between the 2 petals, and then again on this side using the chain 3 space, and then it'll bring us right back up to our top petal again. So I'm going to show you how to just make these connection. So you want to attach it single crochet attachment. So you're going to go into this first top petal, the chain 3 space on this side, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's how you do your first single crochet. And then you'll go in that same chain 3 space and do 1 more single crochet. Then grab up this next top petal chain 3 space. You'll be putting 2 single crochets in there too. Now the side petals here, we're going to be working in the chain 3 here as well, but with a double crochet. So put a double crochet in that side petal, then put a double crochet here in this big old space where we connected our flowers before, and then again we come up to our side petal again. So we're going to do a double crochet on that chain 3 of the side petal, which will bring us back up to our main top petal again, which we're going to do the same thing. 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets worked in both the top petals chain 3s, and then 1 double crochet worked in the side petals and 1 in the connection spot. So again, I'm going to go put 2 single crochets worked in that chain 3 space of the top petal, and then in the other chain 3 space of the top petal. Then side stitch, put a double crochet. Then double crochet here in this space, then double crochet on this side petal. And then again it brings you back up to your top petal, where you'll do 2 single crochets on that chain 3, 2 single crochets on this chain 3, and then you'll continue it as always. And you can see you're causing it to kind of flatten out. So when you get back up to the top, put your marker here and then just go right into that very first single crochet, and now you're going to be doing a single crochet row after row for a total of 14 more rows. So you're going to have this first one here, this first row counts as row 1, and then now when you get to the end that'll be row 2. You want to do a total of 15 rows. And when I got done with all my connections and my flowers, at this point I had 111 stitches. So you may have a little different, I don't know, depending on how many flowers you did all the way around, but for my 16 flowers I had 111 stitches at this point. And I went and I did single crochet for a total of 15 rows. Remember, this first one will count as your first row. Okay, so I want to show you how to do this part with a sample piece, because my original sweater is black and you can't really see the stitches very well. So I made this piece, which is round just like the sweater, and then you lay it flat with the good side showing, which means, you know, not the like I told you in the video, not where this part is showing, where the connection is. Make sure that's under the arm, off to the side, so that you have good front and back look. And then what you want to do is just align your stitches. Oh no, I don't have such a good view on that side. Align your stitches where you have your connection here on. Let me get closer so I can show you instead of having to explain it so much. See how this stitch is on this side and then the next stitch is here, which is clearly on the other side. So you want to make sure it's set up like this because you will have a front and a back. So just make sure when you end that you have this stitch on the correct way. So I'm going to have it to where the stitch is towards me. So it's here and my back stitch is back here. Hope that makes sense. And since I already have my connection, oh yeah, I need to have it because I'm right-handed. I need to have it on this side. So my front side and all my stitches are here, and I don't continue to the next stitch because this will be considered my back part. I'm going to stay here for now, and I'm going to chain 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then you want to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. You're going to be starting your rows now. So single crochet down your chain of 5. You chained 6, but that first one was just to get you there. Okay, so you have 5 stitches here. You could do single crochet foundation stitches and then attach it here and continue your row, but it's kind of silly because our yarn is already attached here. So it's best just to do the chain of 6 and then crochet down, single crochet down your 5 chains, and then turn. Find your very first stitch here, the very last stitch that you did before you did your chains, and single crochet in there. And then continue to single crochet down your row and make sure that you have it clear, set like this, because when you get to the end here, this will be your stitch. And I'm trying to do this without telling you any numbers of stitches because you can truly make this sweater any size depending on how many flowers you have at the beginning, as long as your flowers fit around the person that you're trying to make it for. Thought it was an air conditioner, but it's some sharp sound coming from. Okay, so how you know you're at the end of the row is that you need to lay it down flat. Make sure that your first stitch here on your row is flat, everything straight, aligned with this. Go down your row. You can see I still have a few more rows before I reach the end. I mean, a few more stitches before I reach the end. So I'm going to have it all folded correctly, and now I know I have these last few stitches here. Okay, the last one is kind of a middle stitch. I'm going to leave that extra stitch for the back of the sweater. And I'm just going to go ahead and stop here. I just want to be 100% sure. Okay, this side stitch now became more towards the front, so I'm going to go ahead and do one more. Okay, back up just a bit. Now you see everything is flat, everything's laying flat. So I've gotten all my front stitches done. Now it's starting to curl down to the back, so I don't want to do any more stitches on this side. So now it's time to extend this side of the sweater. And how we're going to do that is using a single crochet foundation stitch. And we're going to even it up. So we're going to do 5 on this side as we did on the other side. So to do single crochet foundation stitch, you want to chain 2. Then you're going to go into the very first chain. We're only going to go through that first loop there. Pull up a loop, yarn over, only go through one of those loops, then which is the chain created. Then you'll yarn over and pull through 2 loops, which is the single crochet. Now you have 2 little loops on the side. You've got a small stitch here and then a bigger loop stitch here. You want to use the bigger one. So I'm going to come down into this bigger one down here. And again, you're going to pull up a loop. Yarn over, only pull through one of the loops, that's your chain. Yarn over, pull through the other two, and that's your single crochet. So that's 2, you can see on the side, that's 2 stitches. Again, skip that tiny piece of yarn right there and then get this longer one down here. Pull up a loop, pull through 1, pull through 2. You want to do that 2 more times. Yep, 1 more time. Okay, now I have my 5 stitches on this side. So then that ends your first row. Now you want to chain 1 and turn. And now you're going to be working along, and make sure you have the right side facing. Make sure you have the right stitches here. You're going to be going to that first stitch. So chain 1 and go into that first single crochet. And then go down your row. Your row of 5. Okay, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have 5. Now find this place, the very last stitch, which you can see was this one right here. And you want to skip all this stuff here, and you want to go right in to that very first stitch. So make sure that you count those 5 and that you find that first stitch that you did before you started your single crochet foundation stitches. Okay, now we just have to do a single crochet down your whole row and over the 5 stitches here. Last stitch on this side. So again, you're doing in rows, so you'll want to chain 1 and turn. And now you're going to be going down this row again, and you're going to keep going back and forth for a total of 20 rows, and that counts. It's easy enough to count because you did your side pieces here. Let me get on the actual piece here and I can show you. See, we started here, so you can easily count from here. 1, this is the first row, this is the second, and now we're on our 3rd row. So when you have a total of 20 rows, then I'll show you how you can begin your back part. Okay, I went ahead and did another row or 2 just so that you'd have more of a clear defined, that you can see it a lot better. So once you do your 20 rows on this side, then you want to go ahead and cut your yarn on that side, and you're going to be reattaching it on this side. And I'm going to use another color just so you can easily see what I'm doing, but usually you would use the same color. You'd want to use the same color of the sweater, because if not, you're going to have one side one color and one side the other color, which is going to be weird, but it can be interesting. So anyway, take your sweater color and you're going to single crochet attach it like we did before when we attached our yarn to our flowers. But this time we're going to be using the bottom chain. So we're going to be working on the bottom of our chains, and remember we have 5 of them. So you want to make sure that you keep it consistent. So go under that very first chain, find a spot here. Okay, yep, that is the first stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a loop. Now 2 loops on my hook, pull through and single crochet. Now you're going to want to go down. Remember, make sure you have 5 stitches here. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, grab that loop there, 4, and 5. Okay, you got your 5 stitches on this side. Now you need to find this very first stitch here, which is the very next stitch, the one that hasn't been worked yet. So this one here, you can see there's a stitch. Well, you may not be able to see. Let me get a little closer here. See, See, there's a stitch that's in this stitch right here. So this is the first unworked stitch here. So that's your first stitch of your back. So you're going to single crochet there, and then you're going to keep going down your row. So I'm going to keep going down my row, and I'll show you what to do when you get to the other side. Okay, this is the very last stitch of my row, because here I can see there's another stitch sticking out of this one. So I'm going to want to turn it like this and find my 5 stitches here. And this side I like to count from the tip back. So 1, I'm counting the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to skip all of these in between stitches and go right into where my 5th stitch is, and single crochet there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now I have my 5 stitches on this side. So now you want to chain 1 and turn. And now, let me back up just a bit. Now you have your whole row here. You can see it clearly in white. And you want to go back and forth on your row. I'll do that a few times so you can get a better idea of what it looks like. So that's it, guys. I hope that you could follow along, and if you've started so far the bottom and the top, I'd love to see pictures. Please come over and share pictures. I want to see them. So that's it, guys. Stay tuned for next week. I'm going to be releasing how to do the neckline and the armholes, and also how to do the bottom of your sweater.